All right, so today we're going to be talking about monotheistic religions, which is the study of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. These are just going to be the bare basics, just enough to get you to kind of understand what a monotheistic religion is and what these three religions have in them. So, for your chrono notes, you need an essential question. So, this is your essential question. You will be writing a 3 to 4 sentence summary at the end of this slideshow answering this essential question. So the question is, comparing Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, what are three similarities? So since we're talking about religion, we have to find out what is a religion. What is it? What makes it something that people follow? What does the word religion mean even? So religion is any specific belief about deity, often involving rituals, a code of ethics, and a philosophy of life. A philosophy of life is basically how you live your life. Okay, code of ethics would imply something like what is good and what is bad. Rituals are something that are repeated over and over and over again. So if you ritualistically go to church on Sundays, and every Sunday you light a candle and you say certain things in that church every single Sunday, that would be considered a ritual. There's some pictures for you. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what is monotheism. There's a big one with a circle in it. That's a huge indicator. Okay, so mono means one. Theism means the belief in God or gods. So if one means mono, then poly would mean multiple, right? That's the opposite of monotheism. So obviously, monotheism is the belief in only one God. So the first religion we're going to talk about is Judaism. Okay, Judaism is the oldest religion. It was founded in 1812 by a guy named Abraham, 1812 BCE, which used to be called AD, which stands for Anno Domini. Now they changed it to BCE. It was the first religion to believe in only one God, so the first mainstream monotheistic religion. It uses rules that were called the Ten Commandments. Okay, those rules are used to govern life. You may know some of them. They're pretty popular. A lot of people know. Their holy book is called the Torah. Now, a lot of people get confused, or they say at least they use the wrong word, right? They say the wrong thing. So it's not the Jewish Bible, it's the Torah, which is the Jewish holy book. All right. So the Bible is its own separate little book, right? And the Torah is its own separate little book, but they're both holy, which means they came from a creator or they're divine. The next religion we're going to talk about is Christianity. Obviously, you're going to write, what is Christianity? Just like you do every other time. You're going to write that in box number 1. The bullet points and stuff, you're going to write in box number 2, which is the larger box on the right-hand side. Okay, so what is Christianity? We need to know. We're going to talk about it. It started about 2,000 years ago by a guy named Jesus of Nazareth. It also uses rules called the Ten Commandments. So Christianity branched off from Judaism. Jesus of Nazareth was in fact a Jewish man, and then after his death, the followers of Jesus became Christians. They started following him and they named it Christians or Christianity. So it is going to have some similarities to Judaism. So Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God or the Messiah that came back to save all the Jews. Their holy book is the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament. The New Testament is actually the teachings of Jesus mostly written down by Paul the Apostle. They were letters to his followers. And last, we're going to talk about what is Islam. So Islam began around 600 CE, so about 500 years approximately after Christianity. Okay, 600 CE. It was started by a guy named Muhammad. All right, Muhammad, they believe, if you believe Islam, they believe that he is the prophet of God. Okay, it uses rules called the 5 pillars of faith. Those are the rules that govern a follower of Islam's life. Okay, so it teaches them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, so on and so forth. Their holy book is called the Quran. Followers of Islam are known as Muslims. Okay, last thing we're going to do, we're going to plot all of these three religions out on a timeline. If you look to the bottom of your paper, you should see this timeline, at least this blank one, right? The first thing we do in every history timeline, just like you would do in a number timeline, you have to know where you are in history. So you always start with a 0. Okay, so a 0 goes right dead center. It doesn't always have to go there, but for this case, and it doesn't always have to start at 0. If you're doing something else that's more contemporary, you can start at the first date or even before the first date and then go to whatever the last date you're talking about. It doesn't have to start at 0. But since we go back in time to the before Common Era, we're going to use 0 because it's right in the middle. So just like a number timeline, anything left of it, the numbers are going to go get bigger as you go out. Same thing with on the right of it, the numbers are going to get bigger. Now, the difference is from the 0 in a history timeline, the bigger the numbers, the farther back in history you go. And then on the right-hand side, the bigger the numbers, the more close to the present to now we're going to go. So we're going to pick 2017 CE to start out our timeline because we know nothing has happened in 2017 CE. The last date we have is 600 CE. So we have plenty of room to work with. And we might as well make it match on the other side because we know nothing happened before 2017 BCE. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and before the Common Era and Common Era is what those stand for. Okay, so the first one we're talking about is Judaism. Judaism started in 1812 BCE. So from that 0 marker, right, if you go negative 1812 years, approximately, that's when Judaism began. Okay. Now the next one we're talking about Christianity, which we said about 2,000 years ago, right? About. So it's approximately. So let's just call it 100 CE, approximately. So anywhere between 0 and 100 is when that religion started, Christianity. Same thing with Islam, which is the last religion we talked about. It started somewhere in the 600 area, 5, 6, 4, somewhere in that area. There's nothing 100% specific. When you go this far back, it's very, very dependent on what they find, what facts or artifacts they find. So nothing is set in stone this far back, depending on what you believe as far as timelines go. All right, so that's how you read a history timeline. So now that you have all the information you need to answer your essential question, go ahead and do that. Using 3 to 4 sentences, answer that essential question.